Hello, hello, hello. It is Tuesday. Welcome to another episode of the Official Property Entrepreneur podcast team. We are now shifting gears into the autumn season. I'm sure you're seeing the days get shorter, the weather changing, it's cooling down a bit. Very much heading into a new season, which is great. Very well timed at the end of summer. End of summer, we want to be burnt out. Well, maybe not burnt out, but we want to have left nothing on the table, really gone for it. All guns blazing, sales, expansion, deals. And then we want to click the car into cruise control, move into autumn, and now spend 12 weeks creating our life by design for 2023, which we can then go and enjoy for the next 12 months. So autumn is, I love all of the seasons. Autumn's definitely one that I'm very fond of. Lots of time in the Zen den, lots of time under the cover of darkness in the morning, lots of reflective time, lots of introspection, lots of learnings, lots of slowing down, lots of thinking, lots of review and looking forward to what we're going to renew going into 2023. To enable us to do this, what I'm going to cover in this podcast is something you can use each quarter. It's a blueprint. I'd recommend that you can listen to it now wherever you are, walking, running, out driving. It's one that I'd recommend you come back to with a pen and paper to remember the 3 key steps of it. And each quarter, there's a great opportunity either for the novelty and the sort of spice of the life, or for the practicality to use this each quarter to mix things up a bit. And what we're going to look at is we've got a new season. So we're going to look at the opportunity of having a new schedule. Now, every quarter, roughly, I'll change my schedule round. And this is for 2 reasons. One is I'm a dynamo profile. So if you're a dynamo or a blaze, you maybe like the variety, the spice of life. You like things when they're new and exciting. After a while, they get stale and you're ready to mix things up. The second is for everybody, the summer will dictate your workload and your workflow very differently. So, for example, in the winter, it'll be very blocked out, 90-minute slots in the prime time, in the cave, locked away, phones off, emails off, working under the bonnet, and it'll be very sort of steely. It'll be very organised, very detailed, very structured. Whereas the polar opposite would be the summer, where the summer is all guns blazing, sales left, right and centre, long days, variety here, there and everywhere, no real consistency, whatever it takes. You know, it can be a lot more chaotic and a lot more blazy in the summer. Spring is more dynamo, it's more creative, and autumn is more tempo, it's more steady. Each season has an energy, every profile has an energy. There'll be some you naturally gravitate towards. I'm a dynamo, so spring, creation, new. Other people are blazes, sales, all guns blazing, high-fiving, having a great time. Tempos, cruise control, slow, steady, consistent. Steals, locked in, detail, behind the scenes, under the bonnet, getting stuff done, locked in, winter hit list. This opportunity is something I'd encourage you to consider. If you don't already have a structure to your diary and to your calendar and your schedule, then this is going to be an absolute game changer for you. If you do, there's other podcasts we've already recorded. So, for example, Get Stuff Done is one that's well worth listening to. It's quite an old one I did a couple of years ago, but go back to that episode and there's some stuff in there about actually the execution against your schedule. In today's, I'm going to talk about the 3 steps to build out your new schedule for the new season. And the schedule will vary depending on the season. So the 3 steps: new season, new schedule, new structure. Let's rebuild our day, rebuild our week, rebuild our month, rebuild our life for the 12 weeks of autumn. So step one is to schedule your month, or structure your month. And we do this in our businesses in a 4-week block. Now, this does get, Guillaume, if you're listening, just giving you a nod of the hat. This does get the obvious question of, well, not every month has 4 weeks. And it's like, well, I get that. That's fine. We run ours in 4-week block, and we have things that happen in our businesses in each week. And what it does is it gives I wouldn't say very rough, it gives a pretty solid, but it gives a broad stroke structure to the month, so everyone knows where they stand. You've got week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. And if I said that to some people in our businesses, they would know exactly what a week 1 looks like, or exactly what a week 4 looks like. So the first thing to start off with is appreciating that your month runs in 4 weeks, and you can create some rhythm to this depending on what business you run, what life you lead, etc. So the first is to structure the month. What we do is we put it into 4 weeks, and then what I'd recommend is having a focus for each week. And this will be built around what you do. So, for example, some things you might have monthly, like I have monthly meetings. So week 1 is the beginning of our month, our 4-week block. So I do my monthly meetings in week 1, and that's PDP reviews, it's one-to-one reviews, it's planning for the month ahead, it's doing the big picture month review, and then weekly we would have one-to-ones. Monthly review, 90 minutes to 2 hours. A one-to-one between 20 minutes and 60 minutes normally. So week 1 would be monthly meetings. In our business, we run the Property Entrepreneur events. Week 4 is event week. And what you do is you start to see a structure emerging in your 4-week block. So for me, week 4 is event week. Week 1 is Tuesday of week 1 is monthly meetings. Tuesday of weeks 2, 3, and 4 are one-to-ones. And you start to get this sort of week 1 to 4 structure. And then what I'd recommend doing within that is within the weeks, then start to think about what you might want within the days. So, for example, week 1 for me is creation week. So week 4 is events, run the events. Week 1 is then, and this is what I've rebuilt just now, so I'm literally sharing with you what I've rebuilt for this quarter. I've built out week 1 as my dynamo week, my creation week, my content creation week. So what I do week 1 is I've done event week, probably lots of out of the office, maybe a little bit tired, lots of extroverted out there, networking, doing events, etc., etc. Week 1 is then in the cave, prime time, off the grid, outside of my monthly meetings, no meetings, no Zooms, no calls. Week 1 is all my creation. So for that week, it's coloured in green on my plan. I've got a 4-week plan. It's literally just 4 boxes on a spreadsheet. Week 1, and I'll tell you a bit more about this in a minute, but week 1, coloured in green, that's my dynamo week. Creation week, in that week, I do all of the creation for all of the programs in 1 week, and then I can delegate it to the team. And week 2 is ops week. So week 2 would then be, right, the ops team then liaise with the design teams, they get things ordered, they do the scheduling, they get all the slide decks sorted, do all of the build out based on what I've created in week 1. So week 1 would be dynamo, week 2 would be steel. Week 3 is then, week 2 for me is then meetings. So I do all of my board meetings in week 2. So week 2 is a meeting week for me. Week 3 is then a week off. So a clear week, I've had a creation week, which is introverted, off the grid. Week 2 is quite sort of extroverted, people, networking, well, not networking, but people, board meetings, incubators, board mentoring calls, one-to-ones with the team, lots of calls in week 2. Week 3 is then I've put as like pretty much off the grid week. So clear week, free week, and in there I'll do high value projects, maybe take a bit of time off. That's my week in the month to have sort of free run. And then week 4 is event week. So week 4, Thursday and Friday I have events. Tuesday, and that's my sort of event week. Then what you do is create some rules. Say, right, well, based on this, what are my rules? Well, my rules that go with my schedule are I'm available 10 till 2, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That was something I created in 2021 when I did 12-hour work week, and it's something that I've kept. You can get hold of me 10 till 2, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then outside of that, I'm doing my thing. Monday's off the grid, Friday's off the grid. I may be working, I may not be working, but I'm not available. I'm not on the grid. I'm not on WhatsApp. I'm not on email. Well, I don't run my email account anyway, but I'm not available Monday and Friday. Zen till 10, so up till 10 a.m. Every morning, including Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I'm off the grid. I'm not available. I'm in the cave. I'm doing cave time. I'm doing prime time. I'm in the Zen den. I'm doing creative stuff. I'm doing high value work before the world comes to get me. And then meetings. So rules are week 1, I don't take, apart from my monthly meetings, for this quarter, this new schedule, the rules that I've made is week 1, I don't take any meetings. So week 1 outside of my monthly meetings, no Zoom calls, no meetings. I need to be locked in, the phone or meetings, a distraction. I need to be locked in. I need to be doing really high value work. I need to be creating. So week 1, no meetings. Week 2, Tuesday and Thursday, book in as many calls and meetings as you want. I've got board meetings, things like that. But the team, well, Emma, my executive assistant, will book in my meetings for week 2. Week 3 off, so no meetings week 3. And then week 4, Tuesdays, I can do calls and meetings on Tuesdays. Wednesday off the grid, getting recharged, being ready for events. And then Thursday, Friday are the events. So what you do is you end up with a sort of structure. So you and your team know where you are, what you're doing, and when it's happening. And what it does is it gives you some rhythm to your life, but it also gives you some rhythm to your month, some rhythm to your week, some structure. And also it allows you time to do the things you've got to do, like be in meetings, take Zoom calls, but also gives you the time off the grid so you can do the high value stuff. You don't need to be available all the time. In fact, if you're available all the time, you're only dealing with urgent matters. If you want to drive a business forward, you need to be focusing on business development, high value, important work, not urgent work. So that's one, is what's the structure for the month? Then that's your sort of 4-week block. And it may be you have a creative week, you maybe have a finance week, you maybe have an ops week, you maybe have a sales and marketing week. You may have sales and marketing days. You might say every Monday is my creation day. Every Tuesday is marketing and sales day. Every Wednesday is finance day. Every Thursday is customer service day. You can create whatever you want it to be. It's just working towards what you need to achieve and also your personal preferences. All of this should be fun. You want to enjoy the process. So the second is then once you've got that, we build out the default diary. So default diary is go onto your Google Calendar or your Outlook, if you're still using Outlook. And in that, using repeat tasks is build out your default diary. So mine, for example, says DH unavailable, Monday to Friday, Monday 5 a.m. till 6 p.m. Repeat that Friday. So then every Monday and Friday is blocked off, DH unavailable. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday from 5 a.m. till 10 a.m. DH unavailable. And then from 10 a.m. onwards, I'm available. And then you just click repeat. And then what you want to do is book in what are the things that go into your calendar, your schedule, your structure consistently. So this could be business development, and if it's business development, I put it in as green. If it's management and it's leveraged and you're actually delegating stuff to other people, I would put it in as yellow. And if it's business delivery, which means it's probably quite unleveraged, it's probably quite low value in many cases, I would then put it in red. And obviously the aim of the game as an entrepreneur is to have more green than you do red. Put in your defaults. So this would be things like, for me, is Zen till 10, is my available time in my calendar, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 10 till 2, available. One-to-ones, weekly and monthly. So my monthly one-to-ones are 2 hours each on a Tuesday, face-to-face. I don't do them in the office. We go to a nice cafe and we meet there, and I do my 3 2-hour monthly meetings with my senior team who run the various companies. We then have one-to-ones on a weekly basis on Zoom. So that's blocked into my calendar every Tuesday, 60 minutes per team member. That's booked in, 3 of those on a Tuesday. Again, like senior team, they do the same with their teams. Set times for calls and messages. So if, for example, you do like WhatsApp and walk or walk and talk, these objectives to make sure you keep moving. Maybe you put a dedicated time in, and actually by about 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, you're flagging and you want to get some steps. You might say, right, well, 2 o'clock every afternoon, I go out, I get my steps for half an hour, and I clear my WhatsApp messages. So rather than have WhatsApp web on your desktop, constantly sitting there watching your phone go off, you shouldn't have notifications on anyway, delete all of those. You know that at 2 o'clock, you're going to have 30 minutes, 45 minutes, go out, do your WhatsApp messages, clear your head, come back, inbox clear head, bang, back up, whatever you're gonna do next. Gym, having a set time for your gym. I'm liaising with my personal trainer at the minute, trying to get the same time. So I do 4 workouts a week. Ideally have it the same time, just so I can get that rhythm in. Have it the same time every day. At the minute, most of mine are in the morning, like 8 or 9 a.m. and one of them's at 11. It's okay, but the more rhythm I can get, the more routine, the more efficient, just the more sort of consistent I can get with it. Meals, if you do set meal times, if you do fasting, if you do closing your meal windows, if you do sleeping at a set time, putting no phone after 6 in your calendar, to bed by whatever time you go to bed. I go to bed really early, but I get up really early. You might go really up to bed really late and then get up a little bit later. Just booking in these consistent things, which is your default diary. That's the rhythm, that's the structure, they're the fundamentals that go in, that's the framework that you drop into into your calendar. I'm just seeing if I've got anything else in here in mine. So, for example, book writing. So I'm going to start writing my second book this month. So I've booked that in every morning, same time every morning for 1 hour, 7 till 8 a.m. in there, locked in. It's just there. It's going to happen. You can get that autonomal rhythm, cruise control, consistency into what you're doing. So that's the second, is building out that default diary. That's the framework. And then what we do, the third, is we just drop the other things in. So the third is Sunday Sanity. Now, if you do Property Entrepreneur or you've been following us for a while, you'll know what Sunday Sanity is. The reality is most entrepreneurs just run around on the treadmill, swinging the bat, trying to smash the ball. That's not how we run a business. You want to make sure your week is well structured, your time is invested, not spent, your time is invested intentionally, and that as well as doing the urgent and low value and reactive, you're also doing the high value and the important and the proactive tasks. The only way you'll do this is to be deliberate about planning your calendar. And for Sunday Sanity, what you do is on a Sunday, plan your week out. And the way we do it on Property Entrepreneur is your top 10 things. So 10 things you need to get done this week. It doesn't have to be 10 game-changing projects. One could be clear your inbox or post return driving license, whatever. It can be just things you've got to get off the calendar. But the aim of the game is if you achieve nothing else other than these 10 things this week, then you will be happy. And what you do is you'll be happy, you'll be content, you'll be satisfied with your progress, with your work. So what you do is write your top 10 things that you're going to achieve this week and then schedule them into your calendar. So book out time in your calendar for the week to do those top 10 things, the 10 highest value things you can do. Could be big projects, could be small ones. They're just the 10 things you've got to get off your list. Book those into your calendar. You've then got your default diary, which is the things you have to do. Your top 10. And then around that, you've got a lot more space, or you've got other space. Now, you might just leave that blank, which is buffering space for all the stuff that comes in on a daily basis. It might be on top of your top 10, you've got other things you've got to do this week. Maybe you've got a family do. Maybe you've got a doctor's appointment. Whatever it is, you can slot them in as well. And the aim of the game is you plan your week effectively. And what we say is don't start until it's finished. Don't start the week until you finish your Sunday Sanity. Don't start the day until you've scheduled out how you're going to spend it. There's a big difference between a hamster's wheel and a to-do list. The to-do list has a start, it has an end, and it has some execution in the middle. That's it. A hamster wheel is turning up every day, feeling like you're constantly chasing your tail, unbeknown that you're never going to hit the end of that list because it's a hamster wheel. If you get to the end of your to-do list, you've got big problems because you no longer have a business. You will never get to the end of your hamster wheel. But with this planning model, you will get to the end of your to-do list. So what do we do? So book that in, schedule it out, and then and that's it. That is Sunday Sanity. So you've got your new schedule, your new structure, your Sunday Sanity. They're the three things, and this will be the new structure, the new schedule for the new season. A few tips to consider. So the first would be that this is your life by design, and this is not a quick process. I've been planning this I probably started it about 2 weeks ago. I've spent a lot more time on it this week because I've said to my assistant, I'm going to get it done. And I would allow a number of sessions because this is your life, basically. This is going to be your life for the next 12 weeks. 3 months is going to be your life. How do you want it to work? What do you want to be? Where do you want to be? And how's it going to be effective? It's not a quick job. So make sure you allow a week or so of dipping in and out of it a few times to get it right. You're literally, this is life by design. You're creating your life. So don't rush the process. The second is make it fun. So you make it fun so it is what you want it to be. So it might be that you have a creative week and you're off the grid. You know that that's your creative week and you love it if you're a creator. Equally, it might be an off-grid week. If you're an introvert and you prefer not liaising with people, there might be a week where or days of the week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you don't take calls, you don't do meetings, and you know that Tuesday and Thursday are the only day you take calls because they take a lot of energy, they take a lot of effort. Have fun with it, make it enjoyable, and build it out the way you want it to be based on what you enjoy, what you don't enjoy. And then also figure out ways to have fun with it. So, for example, if I'm doing a creative day, I won't necessarily sit in the office. If don't need to be on my laptop, I'm not on WhatsApp, I'm off the grid. Why sit in my office? I'll go up to Leeds, or I'll go into Sheffield, or I'll go to a local cafe and make a day of it. Get some steps in, go round some coffee shops, go explore in a new town, a city. Work doesn't have to feel like work. It doesn't, as long as you're adding the value and getting your stuff done and making sure you're happy with what's going out the door, there's no reason why it doesn't have to be enjoyable. In fact, you're more likely to do a better job for a longer period if you enjoy what you're doing. So make it enjoyable. Next is appreciating your best prime time. So what I mean by this is some people are great in the morning. I'm great in the morning, really creative in the morning, deep work, off the grid. This morning, under the cover of darkness, I'm great at that. I love it. It's my flow. I'm an early bird. I was up at ridiculous. By 5 a.m, I'd already done a significant amount of work, which is not sustainable. I don't do it every day, but it's an indication to how I choose to live my life. I would normally go to bed between 8 and 9 p.m, and I'll normally get up between 4 and 5:30. I don't have children. That's my life. I've done it for 15 years, 20 years probably. And I just like it that way. I'm best like that. My best prime time is in the morning. Equally, some of your best prime time will be in the evening. It takes you hours to... I wake up and I can be locked in within 5 minutes of being awake. It's not a problem for me. I've got friends who could take 2-3 hours to wake up, to come round, but then I go to bed at 8-9 o'clock at night and they're firing on all cylinders, they're buzzing, they're up till 1-2 in the morning, and we're crossing over at sunrise. If your best prime time is in the evening, fine. Build your calendar out to reflect that. Don't build it out like mine, because you're just going to set yourself up for failure. And then equally, the realities of life. Your best prime time. If you think you're going to do your work between 7 and 8 while the kids are having their breakfast, getting ready for school, it's not likely to work. Whereas if perhaps the school runs over by 9, you've got an hour 9 till 10 to do your cave time, your prime time, your deep work, set yourself up for success. What is your best prime time to do certain tasks? And equally, don't waste prime time. If you know you're buzzing at 5 in the morning, 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, don't spend the first hour reading the paper, going on social media, wasting all that dopamine on low-value functional tasks. Save the boring functional work for later in the day. Just save that low-energy, low-effort work for later in the day when you can just go into robot mode if your energy is in the morning. In your calendar, allow for buffer time. The reality is everything takes longer than we think. That's just the nature of it. And always there's going to be stuff that comes in. Phone calls, emails, WhatsApps. The kids are tripped over at school and you've got to go and collect them. Don't book out your calendar to the second and allow no margin for error, because then one thing goes wrong and all of a sudden the dominoes tumble and it's over before it started. We've got to appreciate we are human beings living in a human world, and you just got to set yourself up for success, really. Another one would be just sort of identifying how to use tasks, is having quick fire tasks or quick wins. And this is a list of tasks. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, I'll add it to my list, or I'll sort of accumulate them, and I will... Well, in fact, no, rather, that's not true. If it takes less than 2 minutes and someone gives it to me, I'll probably do it there and then. I won't be in the middle of a bit of deep work, otherwise no one would be able to give me that task. But if someone requests a document or asks or wants something sending, I'll quickly jump on WhatsApp, voice note my assistant, voice note one of my team. If it's less than 2 minutes, I'll do it there and then. I won't add it to a to-do list. I won't put it down till later, because all of those things get bigger and bigger and bigger, and just, you don't want to block your diary up with that stuff. If it takes 2 minutes, I'll get it done there and then. If it's a small task, what I'll do is I'll put it onto the to-do list, I'll group them all together, and then I'll have a quick win list. And I'll have 90 minutes most days. Well, in fact, that's not actually true. It depends how big my list is. I'll have up to 90-minute session. I'll do this most days, but some days it might only be 20 minutes. And I'll have a list of quick wins. And when you need that little dopamine hit, that little success trigger, or you just want to get some functional tasks off and start scratching some stuff off the calendar, again, go back and listen to the episode called Get Stuff Done, or Get Shit Done, I think it's called. And that will talk you through the steps to do this. And quick wins are literally like 5-10 minute tasks. Bang, job done. Bang, job done. Bang, job done. And you can just feel like you're getting loads done. It's a real good win. And it just bunches them up and gets them all done in one sitting. So allow time for that and create lists for that. 90-minute maximum. You would have heard me say this before. There's no point booking out half a day to work on something. 90 minutes is like the physical, mental maximum you can focus on a task. Like, don't book anything out for more than 90 minutes. To-do list versus the hamster's wheel. We talked about that. A to-do list is create it. This is today's work. Everything else, get rid of. You know, if you've not listened to hotspotting, when I talk about hotspotting, go and listen to that, the hotspotting episode. Create a list, write things down, number them, and then one at a time, bang, job done, bang, job done, bang, job done. The aim of the game is you finish your to-do list every day and it's complete. Excellent. Close the laptop. Go and do my thing now. Excellent. I'm having a great time. I'm finishing it's Friday. I'm doing Poets Day today. Maybe I'll do a podcast on Poets Day. It's nothing to do with poetry. It's something that we talk about on the board on Property Entrepreneur. If those of you know what Poets stands for, you'll understand what I'm doing today. So Poets Day today. So this morning was clearing my desk, getting stuff done, and it's bang. This is my last thing to do this morning, and then my to-do list is clear. Does that mean I've completed all the jobs that need doing of me for the rest of my life? Absolutely not. It means for the jobs that need to be done today, they're done. So I can close my laptop, I can go and do my Poets Day, and I can enjoy it knowing I've done all my tasks. Otherwise, a hamster's wheel would be chasing me around Manchester this afternoon. Next one is manage expectations, is tell your teams. Like, tell your teams what you're doing. Now, I appreciate those of you that are young in your businesses, you know, you'll feel like you need to lead by example and you need to be visible and you need to be there. Absolutely. There's always a time and a place for that. Equally, there's a reason why you employ people there's a reason why you employ people to run your businesses for you. There's a time and a place for this, so I just want to add it as a sentiment, but in your head, you feel like you've always got to be there, always got to be available, open 24/7. I can assure you that's not the case. Like, that really isn't the case. You think it's a huge thing that you're going to take the morning off to work on the business, not in it, and your team are going to think that you got your feet up drinking pina coladas. The reality is nobody actually cares. And to be honest, most of your team will probably appreciate the fact you're not there looking over their shoulder, distracting them with Slack messages or WhatsApp messages, and actually letting them get on with what they're supposed to be getting on with. They don't actually care. Granted, you can't just say, oh yeah, I'll see you in 3 weeks. Don't get hold of me. That would just be poor parenting. Maybe parenting is not the right word, but you know what I'm saying. So yeah, manage expectations. Say to your team, right, don't just all of a sudden stop responding to messages till 10 a.m. They'll think the world's ended if you're normally up at 5 bothering them with emails and WhatsApps. Manage expectations. Tell your team, right, this is when I'm available, this is when I'm not, this is when I'm on the grid, this is when I'm not, this is when I'm in the office, this is when I'm not. Manage their expectations. This is what it's going to be like for the next 12 weeks, and this is why I'm doing it. So you share that with them. And then finally is 2 quick ones is stay out of trouble, plan for double. So if you are a dynamo in a blaze, the likelihood is you're completely unrealistic with your workload. You're always chasing your tail. Everything takes longer than you think. And most people, human tendency is natural optimism, overly optimistic. So you want to stay out of trouble, plan for double. Book out, if you think it's going to take you an hour, book out 2 hours. And then best case scenario, it takes you 90 minutes. You've got half an hour free. In fact, don't book out 2 hours. Book out, if you think it's going to take 60 minutes, book out 90 minutes. No more than 90-minute slots. Stay out of trouble, plan for double. And then finally is do the next day the night before. This is something I learned about 10 years ago. And it's just stayed with me since. If you wake up in the morning, then you have to plan your day, all of a sudden you're on the back foot. If you plan the day before you go to bed and you sleep on it, you ruminate it, you process it, you get up and you're like, bang, the calendar's already there, the to-do list's already there, the tasks are allocated. You can just hit the ground running. You know, runners don't get in the running blocks, get down and say, right, how far are we running? Where are we going? Where's the corners? Where are we going? They know where they're going before they get in the running blocks. You need to do exactly the same and plan for the next day. Hope you enjoy that. Hopefully that sets you up nicely for the autumn. It is a new season. It is a perfect opportunity for a new schedule and a new structure to your days, your week, your month to complement the season, mix it up, spice up your life, and I guarantee it will be more enjoyable, it will be more effective, and you will get far more productive work out the door when you allow time for it. So I hope you enjoyed that. Tune in next Tuesday for the next episode. If you're not already following us or subscribed, please subscribe now. We actually had somebody leave us a bad review the other day, which was a little bit upset about. 1-star review. Never ever had one before. No message or anything like that. Just 1-star review. Apparently it's quite common with people that are trying to get ahead of you in the charts. But if you get one second now, if you're enjoying this and you want us to keep doing them, just jump on the reviews and just click whatever stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars, whatever would recommend it. Really appreciate it because it'll get us back to where we were in the ratings after having a, I'd like to think, unfair 1-star review. Sending you all the best for the week ahead, and I will catch you on the next episode next Tuesday. Success and failure are both very predictable. Take care, ladies and gents. I'll see you on the next one.